YouTube, Chosen a Barber, back with another video for y'all. First video of 2020. We got a crazy one, a crazy transformation video. Got a shadow taper with a bald neck fade using enhancements. His towel drying his hair after the shampoo conditioner service. Now we just redraping them, putting a neck strip around them. I'm applying a beard conditioner. I also do a beard wash service with the shampoo and conditioning service for clients with a beard. So the beard conditioner is obviously just to retain some moisture in the beard, to add some shine, just to control the beard. I'm gonna come through and comb through it with a wooden comb. Wooden comb is the best thing you can use for combing through your beards. Yeah, I'm combing through the hair, blow drying it, following the growth pattern, following how he brushes his hair, combs his hair out. And I've been cutting him for some time, so I'm pretty familiar with how his hair grows and the direction it grows. But when I start to cutting it down, I'm going to cut it down with a bigger blade, just to double protect myself against any mistakes I can make. So again, we just blow drying his hair, combing it through, and getting as much hair lifted off of the scalp as we can. So the first blade I'm gonna start with is a 2 3/4 blade. This is the second to biggest blade that I have. And again, we just knocking some of that hair down, knocking some of that length down, so I can see the growth pattern, any whirls or swirls, anything that I need to pay attention to, any thin spots, any light spots that I just need to make sure that I'm paying attention to when we put the blade size that we want on there. As you can see, man, his wave is looking pretty good, man. He takes care of his hair. And as you can see, he's nodding off, so starting off with a bigger blade is also a good idea. So now we're coming through with the 1 3/4 blade. And again, we're just taking it down to the desired length. And as you can see, I try to do long strokes. I try to use long strokes all the way through the hair. I don't like using short choppy strokes. That's just my preference. That's just what I prefer to do and how I prefer to cut the hair, just to make sure again it's cut down as smoothly as possible. I try to be very decisive in how I cut. If you hear baby in the background, it's my son. I'm recording this as he's taking a nap. Alright, so now we're going to start on the bald guideline for the neck taper using the outliner blade on my Anders Super ZRs. And his occipital bone is higher on his head than, I guess, your average client. So I'm able to establish my guideline a little higher than you normally would. So on the taper, like I said, it's a shadow taper. So I'm starting with the triple lock blade. Next clipper I'm gonna use is my Gold FX. I'm gonna establish my second guideline with the blade all the way open. Right now I'm just knocking his mustache down with like a 1 or a 1A, I believe, with the grain. Got me feeling over anxious like a home invasion. My dough inflated and I'm more creative. Signed a couple big deals, but it's no parade. Just a couple niggas every generation that wasn't supposed to make it out, but they code the matrix. And when they get to speak, it's like a coded language. Reminds niggas that they strength and all the stolen. Just brushing my canvas off, keeping them clean. So I'm starting with my Gold FX, my Babyliss Gold FX, blade all the way open, about an inch above the triple lock guideline. And once I establish that guideline, I'm going down notch by notch on the clipper until I reach the triple lock length that I established. And I do follow the same steps, fading into the beard as well. If you use the Gold Babyliss FX clippers, you can tell that they have like a notching ball, so you can feel each notch step by step. So that really helps me kind of establish my fade. Now I have the 1.5 blade of the Andis Super ZRs, and again I'm establishing that about an inch above the Babyliss 1 open. Now I'm coming through with my cordless Andis Masters, blade closed with a 0 guard, blending in the Andis 1.5 blade and the Babyliss blade all the way open guidelines. As you can tell, I'm opening and closing my lever to fade between those points just to get that line blended out. Now took the guard off, blade all the way open, using the corners of my blade. Now I got my number 2 on there, open, and now I'm just removing the lightest bit of bulk at the very top of that blend. Now I closed it, corners of my blade, and again I'm just removing just a little bit more bulk, blending it in a little better before I put my 1 purple guard on there, lever all the way open. And again I'm using the corners of my blade just to feather that line out. It's the same steps, man. I use the same steps for the temple taper, fading into the beard, for the neck fade, both sides, whether it's a temple taper, whether it's a ball fade, drop fade, whatever it is, the steps, the foundation is pretty much the same. And again, we're doing the same thing. We're starting with the Gold FX, blade all the way open on the beard as well as the temple. The temple taper. Again, notching down step by step until we reach that triple lock length, which was the first guideline that we established. Next, the 1.5 on the Andis Super ZR. And it's all the same. Like I said, man, I follow the same steps. My foundation is established, and I do different techniques. I try different things throughout different hair cutting processes, but for the most part, my foundation is the same, and I do that, and I try to operate the same way throughout every haircut, no matter the client. Is so that way I have something to fall back on just in case I make a mistake. I can easily retrace my steps. I can easily, kind of figure out what happened, what went wrong, or maybe it's a situation where something catches my attention and my attention kind of goes off the haircut for a second. Whatever it is, so much stuff can happen throughout the day. So much stuff can happen throughout the hair cutting process between myself or the client. Again, as you can see, he's nodding off. So if I make a mistake while he's nodding off, I can retrace my steps and kind of correct the mistake that was made. And you know what I'm saying? He'll never know. I'll know, but I'll be satisfied with the outcome because I follow my foundation that was established. So I'm not saying don't learn new techniques. I'm not saying don't try different techniques. By all means, do different stuff, try different stuff, explore. Buy all the tools you can, buy all the clippers you can, buy all the combs you can, whatever it is you want to try. The shears, thinning shears, whatever it is. Try it all, do it all. Clipper over comb, shear over comb, razor comb. It don't matter. Get it, try it, do it. Figure out what you like, but establish your foundation. For me, that's the most important part, is establishing your foundation and getting your style together, getting your cutting style, getting your technique down pat and mastered. So you can build your clientele, you can build loyalty, you can build, anything you want to build off of your foundation. Your foundation is the most important part. So again, same steps. Babyliss Gold FX all the way open. We notch it down, notch by notch, until we get to that very bottom guideline. 1.5 blade on the Super ZR. Cordless end is master. 0 purple guard. Corners of the blade, toggling the lever between open and close until I got that line blended out and I'm satisfied with it. Combing and brushing after every few strokes, just to make sure that the hair is as laid down as possible. I'm keeping my canvas clean, and I can just clearly see what I'm doing. There's no hair build up in my fade zone. There's nothing happening that's going to impair my vision or impair what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to accomplish with this haircut. Purple guard 2, number 2 purple guard, all the way open. I'm gonna close it. I'm removing bulk. I'm blending all at the same time, using the full blade, corners of the blade, whatever I can do to make sure that that hair does what I want it to do. Coming back with the number 1 purple guard, blade all the way open, corners of my blade fading into that number 2 purple guard. Again, I toggle between open and close on the lever, just to make sure I got that line as blended out as possible. I'm cutting and I'm combing, cutting and I'm brushing. Every few strokes, every couple of strokes. Now I'm using clipper over comb. As you can see, I got a different clipper on deck. That's my cordless Wall Senior with the fade blade on there. And I'm using the white Kenny Duncan comb. And I'm blending the edges of the lineup into the taper, into the bulk of the hair. So we got a couple different, different blends, different fades going. And earlier, all right, so now, same clipper, the Andis Wall. The Andis Wall, wow. The cordless Wall Senior clipper with the fade blade, and I'm going through and I'm just gliding over the top layer of his hair, trying to catch as much of the loose ends as I can, the hairs that stick up. I'm trying to catch as many of those as I can, passing through. Again, you have to be very focused. You have to pay full attention on this part. Your hand-eye coordination got to be on point. You just got to be focused on this part. This part can cause a huge mistake, probably an irreversible mistake at this point. So you got to pay full attention, and you'll see what I mean. You can just see he nodded off in a particular part, and I was able to kind of just lift the clipper right off his head. If you're not paying attention, you could easily cut a patch in his head that you would have either had to cover up with some enhancements, some fiber or something like that, or you try to finagle a design or do something different. So again, doing the same thing, same idea, just with shears, coming through, trying to catch as many loose hairs as I can with the shears that I couldn't catch with the clippers. And I'm just fine tuning the neck fade with my cordless and this Masters blade open. So now I'm prepping the lineup with some spritz. I just got a cotton round, sprayed on a cotton round, and I'm going over the lineup, the beard, mustache. This helps to stiffen the hairs on the end, kind of dries the skin out. Blow drying, laying the hair down so I can get a good crisp lineup before I apply my enhancements. And again, this is all in prep, man. Again, this is about the foundation. Establish your foundation so that way when you do apply the enhancements, when you do add the extra stuff, once it washes out, once it fades away, once it comes out, once they sweat it out, whatever, that foundation is still solid, and you don't have to worry about what your haircut's going to look like once that enhancement is gone. To me, foundation is a very important word in barbering that doesn't really get mentioned a lot. At least I don't hear it a lot. The foundation has to be solid at all times. I'm just going through the, just outlining the haircut using my cordless Gold FX skeleton trimmers. They are zero gapped. Now his hairline has some thin spots, so you have to really focus and be careful not to push him back, not to go too deep into those receding areas. And then, he gets enhancement, so the enhancement kind of, does the rest of the work for you when it comes to those lighter spots, those recession points. Like a home invasion. My dough inflated and I'm more creative. Signed a couple big deals, but it's no parade. Just a couple niggas every generation that wasn't supposed to make it out, but decode the matrix. And when they get to speak, it's like a coded language. Reminds niggas of their strength and all the stolen greatness. We used to shoot at niggas at the mobile station. Full circle, mobile motivation. My self-educated through negotiations. Got these sharks that I'm sitting at this table with afraid to me, the lineup is the most important part of any haircut, really. You can have a decent fade, an average fade, just an average overall haircut, but if the lineup is sharp, if the lineup is even, it can really change the dynamic of what the haircut, really looks like. As you can tell from this view, one recession point is higher than the other one. So, you just got to be careful. Keep it as balanced as you can. Keep it as symmetrical as you can. And, in his case, enhancements will do the rest of the work for you. You just got to make sure that foundation is solid. Every single time, solid foundation. So, first thing I do, I come through with the razor. And I do not outline the top of the beard with the clipper first anymore. I used to, of course, when I first started, but I don't do that anymore. I just feel like using the razor on the top of the beard, the curve of the beard, gives me more control over the shape of it, over how I shape it, and what it looks like overall. So it's just easier for me that way. Again, it's just how I do it. That's just my technique. And I still have the ability to use the clipper. I just rarely do, unless I have a client that just specifically does not want me to use the razor on their face. So like I said, I use my razor to establish my beard lineup from beginning to end. I do not use clippers on the top of the beard line. And depending on the client's skin type, the level of sensitivity, I'll do a dry shave or a wet shave. The wet shave, of course, I use 245 shaving gel. If I do it dry, then I just use the spritz. And then the spritz provides kind of like an extra layer anyway, so that's good. It's a good, barrier of protection on the skin. So now we got the enhancement part going for y'all. My compressor I bought off Amazon for like $50. Then I use 245 semi-permanent spray color as well. I believe I have the brown version in my compressor at this point. My client's hair is like a dark brown, so I use the brown spray, and then I come through with black fibers. And I don't go heavy with the fibers. Again, the fibers are black. His hair is like a dark brown, so using the brown hairspray and the black fibers kind of makes it blend a little better for his particular hair color. So now I'm coming through with the fiber. I use my 24-hour holding spray as my base, and I come through with the fiber, a couple of squirts. Again, nothing extra. I'm not trying to be too aggressive with it. Just a couple of pumps. Then I come through with a light holding spritz after that. Just to lock it in, come through with my blow dryer. I dry it on heat and then kind of lock it in with the cool temperature. So I'm coming through with my cordless detailers. Just to sharpen that line up a little bit. And again, all my tools serve a different purpose, man. I don't use my detailers for anything but cleaning up a ball, like a ball taper or a ball fade after I've cut the hair, the bulk down. And I use my detailers for cleaning up behind enhancements. I don't use my Gold FX for cleaning up behind enhancements. I don't want those clippers to get clogged up with spritz or fiber or anything like that. So, and finally, I'm coming through with the razor one more time. Just to make sure everything is sharp, everything is in place, everything looks how I want it to look. And then because I use spritz and holding spray throughout this process, you don't really have to be too concerned with skin irritation, because it just adds an extra layer of, again, protection. And this is the final cut, close up. If you got any tips, any pointers for me, please feel free to let me know. I appreciate y'all for checking me out. I'm looking forward to this year, looking forward to this decade. Please keep following me, like, subscribe, share. I appreciate y'all.